do a general reading. This deck of cards is the Wisdom of the Oracle from Colette Baron Reed. The bottom of the deck is by the book. So I feel like definitely that's the way things we've been, having to do a lot of work lately and, by the book, following that healing path. Dave and I were just talking today about, the healing of the Chiron. You have to kind of identify your trigger and then, go through the steps. Last night we did our first Chiron class. I was, my first class. Yay. I felt, so you put the presentation together, of course. So I just kind of had to read what she put on there. And it was very interesting. We are going to do some other, another Chiron class. So the energy overall is round and round, and then the fades. So just know that everything happens in a spiral. And as that goes, as you work on things, it spirals around, and you kind of get a gifty for doing that work. So you're saying, so just, as you do the work, you do get the gift. So we are just going to pull a little tarot. And then again, so, and that can, be with like relationships too. That goes round and round. And just know that, that does come back around to you. The by the book card is the 11 card. And the King of Wands wanted to jump out. So we're going to leave him over on the side. And then we're just going to get a little clarification about him. We're just going to get some cards and see what happens. So we're just going to tell a little story. Bottom of the deck is the 5 of Pentacles. So we're definitely going to pull some energy on that one. So first that came out is the 4 of Wands and the Fool. So I feel like, are you moving? Yeah. Are you moving? Are you, going someplace different? Sometimes it's not about a physical move. Sometimes it's about an energetic move. Are you, taking this leap and stepping more into your, your journey and your spiritual path? Today did start Sag season, and I see them kind of dancing and having fun, and that very much reminds me of that Sag energy. And so today is, the energy should feel a little lighter. Jupiter is also going direct, and Jupiter is trying the sun and the moon, which is really good aspect. So I feel like it's a really good time for expansion of our balance between, the light and the dark. So the next part of the message is the King of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords, and the Justice card. So you want us to pull some clarification on that. Are you having a little, chaos and conflict about your money? You're not even, she says stability. Stability isn't always money. Stability can be in your relationships. Are you having chaos, conflict? Are you having somebody that's kind of in and out? It's time to try to balance that energy. And the best way to balance that energy is to balance your own personal energy, is what Celia's saying. So she's saying, make sure you're, having balance with, being serious, because, the King of Wands looks very serious here. But, these girls are having a good time. So, make sure that I know, as we're working on this journey, sometimes it can get really, by the book. But, and the next card is the Breathe card, so just sometimes, during all of this, and it has that same banner at the top that, sometime as you're doing the work, also take time to step back and have a little fun and enjoyment, and celebrate the victory of how far you have come. Have you come from this 5 of Swords to this King of Pentacles energy? Are you stepping into your abundance? Are you ready? Are you putting boundaries up? Was the next part of the message. But are you staying balanced? We're going to pull some tarot on the King of Wands for clarification. I feel like that, your masculine may be ready. He looks like he's walking that line, that masculine energy. and with the courage and the strength, because I see, the lion behind him, and he's carrying that torch. And so he says the torch is a reference of the torch he's carrying for you. Just know that as he's working through everything, he is still carrying a torch for you. So anybody that's curious about how somebody's feeling about them, she said, that person's going through, their dark night, but they're, carrying that torch for you. And the clarification card on that was the high priestess, which is what makes me feel like dark night of the soul. But I feel like you should be getting some communication by the next holiday. I know tomorrow's Thanksgiving here in the States, so it could be that or the next holiday after that, which is, Christmas, depending on your religion, or wherever you are, in the world. But I feel like being in this energy right here can really bring the balance you need. So you have to, try to step back and take a fresh approach to the way you've been, handling things or dealing things. If a situation happens and you get very reactive, find the balance in the situation. Because you can be really in control. Because he's really just sitting back. So if anything happens, somebody's trying to trigger you. Chiron is still in retrograde for one more month. December 23rd, it stations direct at 11 degrees Aries. So Chiron is really, in retrograde. I feel really like shining the light on doing that inner work. I know I've really been doing it enough that I did my first class last night. So if anybody, especially, so he's like, if anyone tries to trigger you tomorrow on the holiday, don't let them. Stand in your power, and just kind of, sometimes saying less is more. Don't be reactive, just like, okay. And then, later go and reflect on it, write what the trigger was. Because, Celia said that trigger is your Chiron. So we will be doing another Chiron class too. So, but she's like, make sure you're just really, having fun. If you're having a family celebration, if you are in the States, if you're having fun, so he says, make sure you're not overindulging, but just having a good time, being a little more free spirited, show your authentic self. If you've been working on yourself and developing stuff, show your authentic self. These girls ain't afraid to, show who they are. So, really show who you are. Shine your light brightly. Because the fates are ready to shine upon you, Celia says. We're really, coming through this, she's like one more month and then Chiron goes direct. So things will start getting a little easier in that aspect if you have been doing the work. If you haven't been doing the work, it's going to circle right back around. So you just kind of, and everything is a process, we, as you learn a lesson, it comes back around to see if you have mastery of that. So it's asking for, you to gain your mastery. So he says there's one more message, and then we're gonna start pulling cards. And that message is the King of Swords, the Tower, the Seven of Cups, and then the Sun is the bottom of the deck, which is, the happiness. So I feel like it's a time to really gain clarity and to speak your truth and to really be who you are. It's definitely about being your authentic self. So make sure you're shining your light and being authentic, because, sometimes if we're not really standing true, something, happens. So, we really have to, decide who we want to show that we are. So you feels like, be your authentic self. That's going to be, the best way to bring in, the happiness that you are truly seeking. Because I would rather have this bottom of the deck instead of this bottom of the deck. I would rather have the happiness, which is, by doing the work, working on what you're manifesting, being aware of what you're manifesting, being aware of where your thoughts go. Are you, in this mindset, or are you in this mindset? Because you truly attract by what you think about. So you get to decide, what would you like the universe to bring you? How would you like the fates to smile upon you? Because Celia says the fates are really ready to smile upon you. I think that we're going to do that as a little clip on the video. The fates are ready to smile upon you. I don't have nothing to write that down.